Hello. This is not going to be long. I just wanted to share something. I just was having a conversation with someone just now, and we were talking, and while we were talking, I was like, you know what? This is good. So I was talking to her about something that I wanted to say to someone that I know that's about to get married. And I wanted to share with him and his fiance. I wanted to share with them. I really think that my calling is to speak to married couples, but specifically wives. I've been through so much. But anyway, so I don't want to keep y'all long. So I wanted to share something with him and his soon-to-be wife. I wanted to talk to them after the proposal this weekend, and then tell them both that through my experience that it's a good way and a bad way of doing things in a marriage. There's God's way, and then there's our way. There's the right way, and then there's the wrong way. There's no in between. So what I mean by that, in a particular topic that I wanted to discuss with them, I wanted to tell them, like, in an instance, because we know marriage is not perfect. It never will be perfect. And I don't care if you've been together 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 20 years. You're going to disagree. You're going to have an argument. Some arguments are going to be worse than others. Some arguments are going to be over the smallest things, and sometimes it'll be over something major or something that has been repetitive. And then the person, because they're trying to operate and change the situation through their flesh and not allowing God to come in and change that situation, because we will wear ourselves out. We will wear ourselves thin trying to change someone else when we can trust God more and let God do the work. We try to do the work ourselves. So I wanted to share with them, like, when it's a way to do things, particularly arguing. When you have a disagreement that turns into an argument in a marriage, that's not the end of the world. That's not, because people are going to say things. I don't know anyone in my life that argued, married or not married, and they argued in a calm, sensible manner. They used all the right words. They were careful. No, because emotions are here. Sometimes way up there. Emotions are high. So everything that comes to mind will come out your mouth if you don't have control over your emotions. Those things are not coming from your heart because they haven't even had time to go from your mind to your heart and then your mouth. They come from the mind and come straight out the mouth. I have control over my emotions, and my mind now is stronger than my emotions. So if I'm thinking something, I'm going to make sure it goes here first before it comes out of my mouth. So that's one thing. Another thing, there's a way to argue. We say the nastiest and the meanest things when we're arguing. You know why? A simple reason. Because we don't know how to argue. And that's what I want to express to them. Don't make the same mistakes that I've made, or that you've made, or that somebody you know has made. And not just in marriage, just in relationship, because friends that have been friends for years, they argue and then they stop speaking, don't talk no more, or whatever. Parents not talking to kids, kids not talking to parents, siblings not talking to siblings for whatever reason because of an argument. There's nothing wrong with arguing. There's nothing wrong with getting angry. There's nothing wrong with getting mad. There's nothing wrong with expressing how someone made you feel. There's nothing wrong with any of that stuff. But if we don't know how to do that, we're not thinking logically. So I want you to think about this. People argue in court all the time. The lawyers argue their client's case. How many times you hear the lawyers cursing and just saying the most hurtful and meanest things? Even though we know that they do use a strategy because they're relying on what their client tells them to help their case. But a lawyer knows how to argue without getting out of order. He knows that. He went to law school. He knows the laws. He knows the rules he has to follow inside the courtroom. Another example is a presidential debate, any type of debate. So when you have a debate, you have two people with two different opinions, two different mindsets, two different backgrounds, two different reasons why they're at that podium, and two different plans that they have in their mind or what they're going to do moving forward if they win whatever they're debating over. But guess what? They're trained for that. They have studied that. They know how to argue without insult. They know how to argue without using profanity. They know how to argue. They've been trained for that. But us, we haven't been trained to argue. So we learn how to argue how we heard our moms argue, how we heard our dads argue, how we heard mom and dad argue. We learn how to argue because of the arguments that we have saw or heard. That's how we learn how to argue. So that's what I want to tell this couple that's about to get married, that learn how to argue well. Learn how to argue without getting out of order. There's nothing wrong with arguing, but don't take anything that your spouse or your partner says in the midst of an argument, take it to heart. Because if you take that stuff personal, you can't say, oh yeah, he or she said what they said, so they meant that. That's how they really feel. Well, why would they marry you if that's how they really felt? Why would they even marry you? Why would they go through all that to marry you? Why would they even waste 2 months or 2 weeks on marrying you if that's how they really felt about you? But no, when we argue, we will say things that come to our mind. But if we learn how to argue well and learn how to, I have a thought, let me bring it to my heart. The heart will filter out the negativity that you're thinking. And when you speak, you're going to speak from how you feel, but you're going to be cautious about the things that you say. But when we're in the heat of the moment, we don't know how to argue. We don't know how to argue well. We don't know how to control our emotions during an argument. We're angry. Temperatures are rising. You said this, so now I said that. Now you're here. Now I got to say something, and it just keeps going on and on. It is not healthy. It is unhealthy. It is healthy to have disagreements. It is healthy to have arguments. But you have to learn how to respond well to whatever it is that bothers you, whatever it is that puts you in a place where you are mentally. You have to learn how to process that stuff. Don't take that stuff here. Don't take that as personal attacks. Especially in a marriage, that's the enemy all day long. There's no way in the world y'all two stood before God and the things you say in an argument, you felt or thought those things at the altar. No way. Absolutely no way. So that's what I was talking to someone about just now. And I was like, you know what? Thank you, Holy Spirit. So yes, this is what I want to share with you all, that if you're married or thinking about getting married or want to get married, because this is what I'm going to share and speak to this couple that I'm going to be meeting with this weekend that is getting married. I'm always happy when somebody's getting married. But anyway, yes. So that's what I want to share. I just want to come on real quick, and just share that. Have a good day. Bye.